Hello everyone, Gabriel here. Welcome back to Ancient Insights. This video is a continuation from our previous video on Atlantis. If you have not seen that video yet, kindly go check it out after this. The link is in the description. In the meantime, let's continue. Thank you. We got the story of Atlantis from the Greek philosopher Plato, really from two of his writings, Timaeus and Critias. The books date to around 360 BC. Most of us probably think of a large green island surrounded by deep blue ocean waters when we picture Atlantis. While the story focuses on the island, most of us probably assume that Atlantis was no more than this. But Plato tells us that Atlantis was actually an empire ruled from this island. Now, in this island of Atlantis, there was a great and wonderful empire which had ruled over the whole island and several others, and other parts of the continent. And furthermore, the men of Atlantis had subjected the part of Libya within the columns of Heracles as far as Egypt, and of Europe as far as Tyrrhenia. Tyrrhenia is another name for Etruria, now known as Central Italy. This means that Atlantis would have stretched as far as modern-day Tuscany in Europe and all the way to Egypt in Africa. We wish we knew how Athens beat such a big empire. Maybe Plato had no idea either, so he gave up on writing the ending. While it is possible that Plato made up Atlantis for philosophy's sake, there is one part of the story that would have been very hard to fabricate. In the story, the Egyptian priest tells Solon, the island was the way to other islands, and from this you might pass to the whole of the opposite continent which surrounded the true ocean. The surrounding land may be most truly called the boundless continent. So there was a continent on the other side of the Atlantic that was so big that it seemed to surround the entire ocean. Could this mean that ancient Greeks and possibly ancient Egyptians knew about or had even been to the Americas? In 1970, famous seafarer Thor Heyerdahl set sail with a crew of 6 in a reed ship named the Ra II. They sailed from Safi, Morocco across the Atlantic and to Barbados in 57 days. The voyage proved that reed boats could survive ocean travel and that ancient people could actually cross the Atlantic in them. This feat has once been thought impossible by scholars. However, this does not prove that Egyptians or Greeks for that matter made it to the Americas, but Heyerdahl proved that it was at least possible for them to do so. Every so often in America, the issue of women in the military comes up. Should we allow women to serve in combat positions? Should we make women sign up for the draft? Although we seriously consider these questions today, they would have been laughable to Greeks 2,500 years ago. In fact, it was Plato's student Aristotle who once said, "Silence is a woman's glory." And could you imagine what the Spartan warriors would have done if a woman had traveled to join their ranks? However, this was not the case with the Athenians of 9500 BC, at least not in Plato's story. The text reads, military pursuits were then common to men and women. The men of those days, in accordance with the customs of the time, set up a figure and image of the goddess Athena in full armor to be a testimony that all animals which associate together, males as well as females, may, if they please, practice in common the virtues which belongs to them without distinction of sex. This could be Plato dreaming of his ideal state, but maybe the people of 9500 BC thought all the chatter from the new recruit would keep the enemy at bay. If the Greeks did knew what lay beyond the Mediterranean, would they have wanted other people to know as well? Maybe not, and this might have been why Plato wrote that no one could sail into the Atlantic. But afterward, there occurred violent earthquakes and floods, and in a single day and night of misfortune, all your warlike men in a body sank into the earth, and the island of Atlantis in like manner disappeared in the depths of the sea. According to Plato, this caused an impassable mud shore outside the Strait of Gibraltar. This may have stopped some from going too far beyond the strait. Plato implied that the Atlantic was not able to be sailed into during his lifetime when he wrote, "For in those days the Atlantic was navigable." Was Plato trying to keep people from going into the Atlantis? Did he truly believe that the shoal of mud was blocking ocean travel? Or was the Atlantic really too muddy for boats to sail across at one point? If it was too shallow for boats, why wouldn't they just walk across? The Egyptian priest had told Solon that none of his stories were truly ancient compared to his own. According to the priest, the reason for Solon's lack of truly ancient knowledge is that mankind has been destroyed time and time again. There have been and will be again many destruction of mankind arising out of many causes. The greatest have been brought about by the agencies of fire and water, and the other lesser ones by many other causes. The priest explained further, when on the other hand the gods purge the earth with a deluge of water, the survivors in your country are herdsmen and shepherds who dwell on the mountains. If the only people who survived were mountain dwellers who had no knowledge of their distant past, then it is easy to see how an entire civilization's history would be lost in time. The priest believed that Egypt survived this disaster when almost no one else did, because Egypt received very little, if any, rain. Instead, they received annual floods from the Nile River, which raised enough to provide for them, but not enough to destroy their world. Some places are too wet and some too dry, but Egypt is just right. I'm not kidding. I love Egypt. What is your thought about this Atlantis? Let us know in comments. If you enjoyed this video and want to watch more of our content, kindly click on the playlist here for more interesting ancient history and archaeology videos. Remember to subscribe and enable notification for frequent updates from our channel. Like, share with friends and family on social media. Thank you very much for watching.